About 30 years or so, I guess, compilations of various things through the years. And the cover is this beautiful cover is thanks to my daughter Ellen. Where is she sitting? And with her help, and my wife's help, this came together. My wife Beth Graham. There's Beth. This cover anyway, Ellen put this together, and if you like what we come up with here, we have some copies, about a dozen or so to start with here.
We'll take orders.
Yeah, yeah. So anyway, that's coming up here, and if you have any desire to have one, we'll see if we can work that out. Okay, and I'll mail it to you or something. Starting off, it was important to me as a kid and also as a young maniacal teacher. One of my motivations was having stars under my feet. If I could, with my pardon the repetition, for my friends here. If you can drill a hole in the ground here and all the way through the earth and look to the other side, and right now, I guess, where's the sun? That way? Yeah. And you'd see past the sun, and you'd see the stars right there under our feet right now. Actually, scientifically speaking, there they are right there. And that perspective is what kind of kept me going, I guess. And so, hence, the first one I'd like to read to you is a little poem called Firmament. That's my mother's biblical background, I guess. The heavens, under our feet. It's pretty short, but to me it catches the essence of what I'm doing here. Remove the earth, remove the sun, or deposit them quadrillions of miles away, out with the other stars and heavenly bodies. Now we see only stars under our feet, over our heads, to the right, to the left, in all directions, only gleaming stars, swathed in night. Take this foothold in the foundation of the heavens, beyond falling and rising. Add Bach's Mass in B minor. Now begin. The next one's rather long, so have patience, okay? I never did any copying of Whitman, but I guess it's sort of Whitman-esque, this one is. An open letter to the universe. I just had some things I wanted to get off my mind, This one, sort of, as with most of these, the title, Eruptions of the Heart, and most of these are eruptions. They're not planned at all. I mean, they just sort of came out, and there it is. An open letter to the universe. Dear universe, thank you for everything. I'm 76 years old, 78 now. This is a couple of years later. Somehow, and I'm ready to move on whenever or wherever it seems appropriate. It's been very confusing. Up and down ride, but whatever it was beautiful. Like listening to a very compelling but often impenetrable piece of music that tantalizes now and then with meaning, then veers off again into the murk. As I age, I have learned to live in the murk and wait for the transcendent, which always seems to come along if I keep listening. I haven't lost faith in you. Your beauty is so compelling. Your spaciousness convinces me. From your galaxies reeling off into infinity, into the immeasurable dimensions of the micro-world below, even to the limitless level of your human beings. But here the plangent murk comes again. You seem to be encouraging deafness, and it does seem tempting. I hear this chaos, and I have to ask you, what is your plan or purpose in embedding in humans the need to murder one another? As you know, murder blinds us. We can't see what we're doing, what we're really killing. ourselves, our spirits. Why are you doing this? How can blindness benefit these limitless humans? How can you grow them or bring them to fruition through blindness? I know, I am profoundly ignorant and should not be asking such presumptuous questions. Yet this is also your ignorance and your questions and your killing. You're not separate from us. Your beauty and your horror are in our blood, or rather in your blood. Where in you are we going? What in all of us moves us into this bloodbath unceasing? I take these bullets personally. I feel them ripping through my insides, ripping into you. The unknown, the what's behind all this, which may remain unknown, the unseeable something here. I look back in wonder at my suffering and yours. We are intimately interwound, you and we and I. My breath is your breath. We are breathing this all in together. Now, building from this, here's a hunch. I, you, we have. World peace won't come until personal peace comes. Personal peace won't come until humans realize that they're not mere egos or fixed abstractions, but they're moving, changing, living realities wedded to a moving, changing, living reality out there and in here. That is, wedded to you, me, and us. We have to get used to living and dying in and with the unknown, that is, with all of us, with whatever or whomever is present. To make killing obsolete, we need to learn how to live and die in awe of the present, in awe of all beings, now, moment by moment, day by day, year by year. It requires no effort, but we all know that's the hard part. Our lives are saturated with effort, immersed in it. We all know it takes such a careful watching, such a dying moment by moment to see that. But it's so important to see what's right in front of us, what is in this very moment. Every effort denies it. But the present, you, I, all of us, speeds on in mystery. Shakespeare agrees. So that in venturing ill, we leave to be the thing we are for that which we expect, and this ambitious foul infirmity and having much torments us with defect of that we have. So then we do neglect the thing we have, and all for want of wit, make something nothing by augmenting it. William Shakespeare's Rape or Lucrece. Now I'm hearing one of our transcendent melodies again, so I'm on our way once more. Ours truly, E.R. Graham.
Did you get a response?
I'm waiting for that any time, breathlessly. I'm so honored that you're here. I'm glad you're all here. Let's see. The next one I thought, I organized a few of these, believe it or not. I thought this one might be appropriate next. It's called Wedded to the World. Wedded to the world we are. And death, whoops, my cane fell. Wedded to the world we are, and death will not part us. Here we are, earthlings, face to face, mind to mind, body to body, seamlessly connected. My arm is your arm. My breath is your breath. When you fall, I fall. When you rise, I rise. Hatred will deny this. Misanthropes will cringe. But sure is the world, and the world is sure. Escape is not an option. Divorce is not possible. Let's watch together, human to human, as the pulsing awe of the other makes murder obsolete. Let's get on with it. The next one comes in another passion I had and still have, is a love of thunder. Anybody else love thunder in here? Yeah. Coronaphilia it's called. And it catches a lot of what I feel about this. In a Rocky Mountain thunderstorm in June, lightning hammers its way down the canal behind our house. with transcendent ferocity, stops all civilized banter with multiple detonations, drives out all the anamorphic twists and turns of the brain, blasts it into simplicity, batters it into sincerity, then thunders on eastward. Only fire new, magnetic air, and the silent mind remain. Well, let's see. And the next one comes, I know probably everybody in the room is fascinated with stars, and so this one might ring a bell. This one's called Starlight. I'm out for a run through a diaphanous spring morning, moving along with the woodpeckers delving hungrily into the trunks of the cottonwood trees for their breakfast, expressing utter faith that their noisy digging will not be in vain. On down the path, as it curves to the north, the sun rises over the trees without hesitation, without complaining that the earth has been in the way all night, blocking its light. And even the trees have refused to let its brightness through until just a few moments ago. It rises instead as the star that it is, the furnace of light for us all. When the blockages fall, simply, instantaneously, within and without, no choice in the matter, it lights us again. Gosh, I appreciate the applause. Another one is electricity. Anybody in here fascinated by electricity besides me? Yes. This one's called Unplugging In. It just struck me one morning while I was shaving, as you'll see here, that doing the morning ritual of shaving, my electric shaver begins to lose its customary hum, then dies with a growl and a whimper and then silence. I connect the electric cord to the back of the razor, plug the other end to an outlet to charge up the battery again. But then I remember that the shaver will function just as well without a battery as long as I keep it plugged in. So I happily resume shaving. But a thought bolts through the mind. Synapses sizzle, walls and ceiling tremble, floor tile crack, cosmic currents rush in. No outlets required, only inlets. Only a touch opens being to instant electrical waters. There, always waiting, not pent up exactly, just waiting like an ocean for a chance to flood through. Nothing personal, you understand, just a little opening. And there it goes again, the fierce energy of night and day, crackling through the ordinary, connecting, inflaming, annealing. There is no death here. Let's see. Starlight to the plugging in. All right, this is the far slide. Something called the far slide. Some time ago, I don't know what generated this one exactly. Just a kind of a permanent state of insanity that I have, I guess. In the far slide of thought, where incontabulous scrupulosities abide, snuff around. Let not any two-ness dominate, but remember always to backward glance into the infinity of your roar into the world. With blood flying and the noise of birthing surprise. Hang restraint as you look so the whole eye of the world can see. Then slide off again into the ride of the day, lining up your taste buds, enjoying the heaven out of it. Howsoever, whatsoever you do, don't forget to remember the upward and downward glance into immensity as you ride. And don't forget to forward glance into the final slide, into the infinity of the deathing surprise, striding into the galaxies. No, this is such fun. I haven't had this. Yeah, I always look forward to this happening sometime or another. Let's see here. The next one, my father was an enormous influence on my life. He was this great fellow he was a railroadman with a down-to-earth sense of humor and great sensitivity to all kinds of things, and not the least of which was his son. And he had this kind of love that sort of grinds into your bones, and holds you up for an entire lifetime. And I ended up thinking about him and then writing a little poem called The Body of the World, because he makes me think of the way things are, not the way they should be, the way they are. The body of the world. The body of the world won't say what it means, or the body of the world says exactly what it means, just not in my language, or the body of the world is saying nothing. The stymied intellect, a bright Christmas ornament, suddenly falls, tinkling as it strikes the ground, rolls over and lies still. I'm running alone through a deserted park after a morning rain. Pine and cedar perfume the air. I cross an abandoned thoroughfare and enter into what seems to be a vast, low-lying Greek temple, supported by large stone pillars. I continue running in the shadows among the pillars until I'm joined by several other men and women in a jubilant mood. We all join hands and begin jogging backward together. A popular local radio announcer now joins the group and asks each of us to say something into a microphone she is carrying. After the person next to me says thinking, the announcer hands it to me, and without hesitation, I say feeling. Then we all resume jogging happily backward through the twilight, emerging at last from the other side of the temple onto a kind of esplanade, bathed in sunlight. Thirst overcomes us. We separate temporarily, each to his or her own source of refreshment. I'm puzzled for a moment because I can't find any source for me. Then off on the left, at the bottom of the hill, I see my beloved father, long dead, holding up his old thermos and beckoning to me with a smile. He hands it to me. I open it hastily and gulp down the delicious cold grape juice. My father says very little, only that he has to go now. So without saying goodbye, he walks quickly back up the slope to the temple, disappearing into the twilight among the pillars. Beyond language, the body of the world has spoken. Sorry, I'm an emotional wreck. The next one, and I mean, I bet there are a lot of people in here fascinated with compasses besides me, right? This next one is refers to an old compass that I really did have in the basement of our house. And one day I opened the door downstairs, and there was my old compass. And when I opened up the cover, it still registered north. It was still all through those years. And so I decided to honor it with this. In an old desk drawer downstairs, I rediscovered the compass that I used years ago for hikes into the Colorado mountains. As I open its venerable yellow box, its needle trembles at my touch, swaying a little back and forth. But it quickly reasserts itself and points north again, held firmly in the omnipresent magnetism of the earth. It pointed faithfully northward through all the years in that old drawer, through all the confusion and chaos earth bears. Always its needle pointed northward. Always it obeyed the invisible magnetic command of its beloved earth with alacrity, splendid courage, and unless I disturbed it, not a quiver of doubt. How can you weep through a reading like this? Okay, anyway, The next one is important to me because I don't know how, if you had any fascination with knots or not. Pardon me. But when I was a Boy Scout, I got a big kick out of that, and learning different kinds was just a great kick, a different one for a different purpose, and so I inspired me to write this little poem, and I use this one to sort of stabilize myself when I start weeping too much, This one, thinking Boy Scouts, thinking knots. Granny knot, 2 overhand knots lapped the same way. Result, she jams or slips or both. Square knot, 2 overhand knots lapped in opposite ways, forming 2 intertwining loops. Result, no jamming or slipping, elegant and simple and strong, unless the ropes are of different sizes, which means this knot can also slip and slide. So on to the surgeon's knot, much like a square knot, but add another twist after the first overhand, pull tight, then do the reverse overhand. Result, no slipping and sliding lightly here. A little more complex, but elegant and strong. Good for cinching off a broken artery. For a broken spirit, unlearn all knots. One must learn to slip and slide. Am I going too fast? I guess I am. I don't know. Let's see here. This next one, I don't know, a genesis for this one, except more insanity on my part. 128. This one's called What If. I don't know. If you get it, I always wonder about things. Wonder is an important ingredient in my life. Even now, wondering about everything, you wonder, what are we doing here? What is this? I don't know. And that feeling of wonder is just inescapable, I think, if you think about things a little bit. I always thought a little bit too much, probably. But this one's called What If. What if each moment is a quickness in love with whatever is? The source of darkness and brightness, planets and suns, mountains and oceans, humans and lions. What if the speed of each moment is so great that accidents, scientifically speaking, are simply impossible? What if each moment is intimately intended? What if? What if each roaring moment can come in no other form and controls absolutely the next moment already upon it? What if each moment is really a providential explosion? What if each moment is the source unknown, capital S, growing boundless providence for itself through our lives and deaths? What if the passionate quickness of the moment unites us irresistibly to the source? What if our breath and the breath of the source are one? What if the source is breathing us, living us, dying us? What if dying is an hallucination? Simply impossible. I don't know, I'm so far. I'm going to have a lot of time here to blow, I guess. 11 out of 12. I could read some more, but I don't want to bore you to death.
Could I make a request?
Yes.
Could you read first point?
First point, sure, I will. I'll do that before I do my next one. My next one was going to be my last one, so let's see. First point, let me look up the page number on it. I'm not sure what it is. First point, wait a minute. First point is a mountain in Trinidad, Colorado. This little town in southern Colorado is where I was born, and that's where Dick Wilson, my friend Dick over here, was born. You know, we're in the same boat here. And
Same point.
yes, yes. And it's just an interesting little town, surrounded on all three sides, what Trinidad means, you know. And people pass it by and say, oh, big deal, you know, little mining town, you know, coal town. Just utterly boring to many a city dweller. But then those of us who grew up there, well, a lot of us hated it actually because there's so much about it to hate. Yeah. But then when we got away a little bit and looked back and say, God, you know, that was unique. It was. Because there were so many different people there from all, you know, it was a mining town, so there were people from mines, there were people from farming, and every occupation you can imagine. And so the variety was enormous, and we sort of took each other for granted, you know, but it's a beautiful little thing, you know, a town with the Fisher's Peak on the south and Simpson's Rest on the north, etc. And then the Spanish Peaks on the west, and the Iwatoyas, you know, the whole mountain range of, what am I going blank on that? Sangre de Cristos on the west, you know. That it just never got tiresome. You could always look up around and the mountains would lift you up, you know. So anyway, interesting place. But this little poem that this is Dick Wilson over here, right there. This one that he's talking about, if I can find it.
Why don't you go ahead with the other one and Dick is looking for it.
Okay, Dick, look hard, would you?
Maybe we lost first point.
Oh, it's got to be there. Got to be there. Okay. Well, the last one is just a prayer, is what it is. A prayer to the source. To me, the source, I guess you could say God, but I'm not a theist. Whatever's there, what's really there, is what I'm interested in. I don't care whoever or whatever you are. Thank you for this sacred ground. I understand none of it. I hear your fanfare, though, resonating always in my being, inspiring me always to applaud and continue your breathing. Still no first point?
You could read a poem about Desmond. He's here.
Oh, yeah.
Page 89.
89. All right, let's do that. Let's do that. Desmond at 9 months. Where'd Desmond go? Desmond, this is about you, okay? Okay, here we go. I don't know whether he's ever heard this, has he? I don't think he has either. Desmond at 9 months. Your hands eagerly feel the universe into existence, exploring the mouth and teeth of the earth, the breath and warmth and light. You will not wait for height enough or strength to seize the world. You seize it now. Now in the event of your smile, now as you rush to focus the blue of your eyes on the plunging tumult of living beyond guile. You know, I guess I may not have put every single one of those that I thought were promising into this book, because good grief, I would be 250 explosions or eruptions of the heart, I guess. But there's some that I love that, you know, I could still be happy to read. There's one here I liked a lot, and my daughter Andrea liked this one. Articulate Worm in Spring.
I like that one, yeah. That's good.
Articulate Worm in Spring, if I can find the right page. 5. Wait a minute. Wrong page number.
Page 6.
Yeah, it says page 5 in the index. My body glistens when it rises to the sun. I bask in the warmth a short time, but the delicious earth calls me back again. So I continue the lovely, fragrant intercourse, moving as I can and will, without thought or hesitation through the darkness. My slippery, shining skin kisses my earth. I feel her voluptuous glories and devour each delicacy with delight, knowing that she will provide and wishes my blissful, sensual mining never to end. If one of the ignorant humans comes along, bumbling along with his hoe and accidentally chops me in two, my earth has promised me that the grand worm tradition of regeneration will still apply, and I will be allowed to double my enjoyment of union with her. Such a bisection brings merely temporary suffering, after all, a small inconvenience before such a feast.
Okay, Brad, you did found the first point. It's aiming true on page 4.
Oh, that's it. I had the wrong title. What's the page number?
Page 4.
Page 4. Look at that, right in front of my nose. That's why I couldn't find it. Number 4. Okay, here comes first point. Again, it's a, yeah, no, I didn't title it first point. What kind of a weird thing is that? I should have called Dick. First point, easy to climb, measureless to a child. Very small, but oh God, it was wonderful because you could escape all civilization and go up that path, and it was quiet and serene, and the birds were chirping, and it was paradise, really. And first point appears again, a mid-sized hill of my childhood, a mountain to me then, with mysterious paths up its sides, lined with pinon trees large and small, their pitch speaking in aromatic tongues. My yearning then comes along, with large navy knife in hand, to be hurled at the trunks of random trees along the way, asking their unerring fragrance to guide the knife faithfully to its mark, allowing it to stick deep in the wood so the handle can quiver in the speech of delight to each tree, and they can all reveal what they know. Okay. I had one here where I was in kind of a bad mood with deities. So I came up with this one. Do keep this straight. Wait a minute. This is my wife and my daughters you're talking about, you know, and as well as my father and my mother and my sister and my aunts and uncles and my grandparents who came to Nantucket Island in sailing ships for whaling adventures. Well, sure, you've got to admit this. Besides, this is my teaching career, and these are my students who love me, and now and then listen to me in my classes as I teach my very own personalized versions of American literature and how to write essays that don't die on the page. If that doesn't convince you, remember that this is my house and my sunroom and my yard and my hackberry trees and my car and my garage and my tools and my considerable handyman skills. When the pages aren't cooperating. And of course, do have the decency to recognize that these are my profound poems and my probing essays and my mind and my body and my life and my death, not yours, thank you. Do keep this straight. What's mine is mine, after all. Who are you to challenge that? What do you mean, behind me? You own all my mice? Oh, sure you do. What are you chuckling about? Just who are you, anyway? Just who are you, anyway? That's one that I wanted to. I'm glad that we have time to do this. I didn't think I would have time to go on like this. This is one that Bill Moyers liked. Two soldiers.
Then we can have a social hour.
Okay. Okay. This one's called Two Soldiers Coming Home. And Bill Moyers did, believe it or not, did write me back about this and said he liked it, and he sent it off to some other person who that I never did follow up on it. The young soldier, home from Iraq, paralyzed from his chest down, rolls his wheelchair down the street in an anti-war parade. His face is sad, proud, beautiful. His eyes intensely blue, reflecting the faces of the crowd as he moves along. Everyone applauds and wants to shake hands with him. One woman in particular reaches across the barrier intently, grasping his hand and saying something vehemently to him. He slows down and turns to her, understanding. She has lost her son in the war. He is not her son, but he must be her son for her. She must see her son in him, coming home to her at last. She reaches out through her tears to touch his face gently, tenderly. He accepts her caress as her son, naturally, with grace, then slowly turns away and rolls on with the parade and his own homecoming. Now you think we ought to have a break? you need a break, don't you? Thank you. I'm so glad you're here. Otherwise, I'd be talking to myself again.